I'm going to show you how we clean this. Do you see up on the top here, there's this little line. You guys got to come closer so you can see. There's that little line that's going around like this. See that irregular line? It kind of outlines that. That's something that's down the middle, and we want to pull that away. Again, I'll clean off my knife. And that's your guide. So again, using your knife and not sawing, but following that line. See how I followed that line? I want to keep it flat against. I'm trying to keep that tapered down as close as I can to the center. There. And now we've removed, see how nice that looks? You can come up underneath here if you want and gently keep it against that. Once you get that loose, I'm going to follow where I created that. See how clean that is now? Looks more like this, doesn't it? Well, that's where that line that I came in first on top of the fish. When you do small fish, it's going to be the same thing, but you don't have this much product to go through because it's a larger fish. There isn't going to be all this excess bone structure. Now there's this belly fat. You see how these bones come up here? So I'm going to take my knife again, and I could use the fillet knife or this one. This I can get much more accomplished because it's a larger knife. And again, remember the technique. It's always drawing through and using a sharp knife. Okay. So I'm trying to keep that knife as close to the bones, but not cut down into the fillet. So far, so good. I'm going to move this around. Now there's a lot of belly fat on the bottom that I'm trying to trim away to keep this fillet as tapered as I can. And there is a nice clean salmon fillet, right? All right. Now you take your hand and gently smooth out the fillet. And then you'll notice these bones here. These are called pin bones. And see if you put your thumb or rub against them, sometimes they'll fall out. And that's where your needle nose pliers comes in. So starting here at the end, and I gather these in my finger. What I'm doing is trying to feel, and I pull the pin bone out sideways, grab it, and I've done so many of these that I know exactly where the bone's going to be. And the pin bones stop about 2/3 of the way down the fillet. It's the same with trout. Smaller fish don't have as many, but the ratio is the same. Those pin bones are holding that muscle, that part of the meat, the flesh. I'm grabbing those bones and pulling to my right so that I'm not disturbing the fillet and tearing it. As you get larger fish, king salmon and other species of wild salmon, when you pull those pin bones out, the girth is so large that those fillets will sometimes split just because the pin bone is what's keeping that fish muscle together. So now we have what we call a fillet. Nice looking and ready to go and ready to cut.